Welcome back. Yes, time for an injury update. That's yes, you heard correctly. Now there is good news for those of you who don't want to watch all the way through. At the very end, I've got a description of a little 2-minute exercise that I'd been doing that helped clear the issue, which was recommended me by a physiotherapist. Yes, that's right at the very end. But the good news is I'm on the mend. Things have cleared, but there's still a bit of an issue, yeah. And I did produce a short, and yesterday, as you know, sometimes I just talk and ad-lib. It wasn't really a short, it was almost 2 minutes worth. And even that only touched the surface of what's been going on. So I'll go from the beginning, yeah? Should we go from the beginning? We'll start at the very beginning. But firstly, I've got to give a big shout out and thank you all for joining me. Those of you who are interested in knowing what the update is, and there's been a lot happening in the past 4 weeks. In fact, in the past 4 weeks, I would see progress. Did I just show you the past 4 weeks of running that I've been doing? Yeah, that's right. Absolutely zero. So since New York Marathon, which was on the 2nd of November, which I managed to finish, even though I walked the last 6 miles, although I was jogging before that as well, and things weren't too good. I'm not even walking that quick. The legs, yeah, completely shot to pieces. So, hey, what to do, eh? What to do? We knew there was an issue going in, but I was determined not to DNF. So I finished, and just finishing was an achievement for me, and I was really happy with that. But since then, about a week later, I just went for a short jog for a few kilometers. Foot hurting, I thought, let's let it rest. Went the following day and it was really hurting. So that's when I decided, right, that's it. No more running. So I'd already seen a physio at that point, and they weren't clear of what the issue could have been. There was, you know, is there some foot issue? Is there some knee issue? Is there sciatica? And again, I have mentioned sciatica a number of times, and some of you have commented. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below if you've had sciatica, or if you have sciatica, how you've resolved it or how you look to resolve it. And as I say, at the very end, I've got a 2-minute exercise which helped in some way, yes, to give almost instant relief. Because without going into the science, I'm not a physiotherapist or qualified medical person to explain the science of sciatica. But essentially, there's a nerve that comes from your lower back, and if that's trapped or jarred in some way, then basically you lose the sensation going down the leg. And for some extreme cases, you can't really move, or you're not very mobile at all. Thankfully, I was able to be mobile, but this is why I want to go back to the very beginning, where sometimes we get to the root cause, see what the issue is, and not repeat it, because we want to learn from those. And our bodies are amazing things if we look after them. Oh, so much content out there now. It's just gone like an epidemic, really. People, all this going hard or go home and no pain, no gain. It really doesn't work. Yeah, you can get away with it up to the point, but eventually you will collapse. And then in worst case scenarios, unfortunately, people don't make it to the other side. Yeah, but I won't finish on a downer, because basically we need to listen to our bodies. If we treat them right, they look after themselves, we look after ourselves. And that's where my body had some issues, and our bodies go into defense mode to protect. We need to protect. So fighting through and all that bravado really doesn't work unless you want to break yourself big time. Yeah. So I'll be interested to see how some of these others on their platforms who've dug themselves into a big hole, how they're going to get out of that holes. I got myself into a bit of a hole. It sort of started, the first indications was around August, where my hamstring had tightened up. And now and again I would have an issue on one of my feet, just on the outside, but I thought it was just a bit of aching, you know, a bit of nothing much going on. Or is it a bit of arthritis? You know, I'm 64 now, soon to be 65. You know, the inevitable in our bodies happen. We can delay it as long as we want, but things happen to our body which we can't control. We just need to go with the flow. So there was clearly issues with my left leg, my left foot. Is there a movie about my left foot? I can't remember. Or was it my right foot? Anyway, that's for another Hollywood discussion. So there's clearly an issue there. And then I found things were tightening up, and it's been like a concertina of events. And then when I go through, but the long and the short of it, when I came out of New York Marathon, and I then went to see the physio, because I did see a physio beforehand to see if things could work out for before New York Marathon, and that helped to a point, but it didn't clear the issue. I then went NHS doctor, got to see a physio within about 2 weeks. So I had to wait 2 weeks to see the physio, gave me some exercises. Things weren't really progressing that much, and that's when I decided to see an osteopath. Yeah, I know. Did that shock you? I was asking for recommendations over on social media, and I was getting all sorts of messages, people saying, oh, try this, try that. I said, I don't want a physio. I've tried a physio. I want to see an osteopath. Now, for those of you who don't understand what an osteopath is, we all understand a physiotherapist. Yeah, physiotherapist basically checks to see what the issue is and then gives you exercises to help alleviate that. They don't get into the nitty gritty. At the other end of the spectrum, the ones who really get into the nitty gritty is the chiropractors, where they, really knock your joints about to get you back into shape. So physiotherapist, chiropractor. The osteopath is in the middle. Yeah, so they do a bit of, check to see what it is, see what the issue is, and also some manipulations or some what you might call extreme massage. Yeah, hardcore massage. And I know some people go really into their deep tissue massage, and I do have regular massage, but sometimes massage is not enough if things have locked up and tightened up. And that's what the osteopath had found that my lower back was so tight it was woo, and then also what tightened up was the piriformis. So again, the piriformis is in the glute. It's one of those muscles that the sciatic nerve can either go over or under or through it, depending on the individual. My piriformis had literally locked out. So as I said, the body went into defense mode. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Was it the piriformis that tightened up? Was it the lower back? Or was it something else that caused the piriformis to tighten up that then caused the lower back to tighten up? Or was it the lower back tightening up, piriformis, and then that? I think it starts from the ground up, because after 2 visits at the osteopath, my sciatica issues had all but disappeared like magic. Now, there was some pain in it, yeah? No pain, no gain. This is where it's at, not in terms of the running yourself to the ground, but in terms of the manipulations. Because the nerve had been trapped, the osteopath had released the nerve, and it's a bit sore. It can become inflamed, so it needed time to rest, recover, and shrink back. Yeah, basically, the inflammation needed to go down. So the inflammation goes down, and then I start getting sensation back in my leg, and I can feel my leg, and I feel like a new man, until another issue reappeared. So the sciatic nerve had stopped everything. At the bottom of my foot, I could feel pain on the 5th metatarsal. Yeah, that's right, the 5th metatarsal. Again, I won't go into the mechanics of the whole feet and everything, but the 5th metatarsal, if this was my foot, it's the outside one, the dinky one. So if this is the big toe, it's the outside one, and sometimes you might have a bone protruding there. That's the metatarsal that's sort of hanging out there. That had been damaged. Now again, was it the metatarsal, slight bruising injury that was causing the issue that tightened up? Calves, hamstring, piriformis, lower back. Was that the order? Nobody can say, but the good news is, once we identified that metatarsal issue, the osteopath went to work on that again. A few little jiggy manipulations with the ligaments around the metatarsal, and yes, it was stinging quite a lot. I'll use the word stinging, I won't say brutal. So it was a really hard stinging, almost like someone was prodding a knife or a sharp needle through my foot. But the blood's been flowing, and I woke up this morning and it doesn't feel great. It's improving. So now I just need to sit and wait. And again, we allow things the inflammation to go down and to allow the foot to heal correctly. And then hopefully, touch wood, I may start running It's touch and go whether I start running before Christmas or after Christmas. I'm in no rush. As you can see, I'm pretty compos mentis, saying I'm not being driven up the wall, because at the end of the day, for me, running is a hobby. I do appreciate that I'm running at a particular level, and some people might think I'm elite. I'm not paid professional. If people want to pay me, please do come and pay me to run for whatever brand you want me to promote. And yes, I'll be professional, just like all the others, but it's a hobby for me. It's not the end of the world. I have an indoor bike. I have a gym nearby, so I can use the sauna, the pool. I have been doing aqua jogging, which was a revelation to me. I did sort of joke, did the aqua jogging aggravate the foot whilst the sciatic nerve was healing? Who knows? But I was in the sauna again this morning. It's fantastic. I'm learning new things. I've ordered a book. I've got a book here called Atomic Habits, reading about how we create, small changes, creating good habits. I'm learning, even though I am 64, I'm still learning new things, lots of things to learn outside of running. And I'm still helping other people with their mentoring, coaching, with their running and life. So there's so much to do that the running is, I feel fine. Yes, I've had 4 weeks of zippity-doo-dah running and feel a bit frustrated. Don't get me wrong, it does have an impact on me, but it's not the end of the world. I don't feel so frustrated and driving up the wall. It's good to have discipline, dedication, desire, but I think obsession is just taking it a bit too far. So I remain disciplined to ensure that I'm not going back to running until I'm ready. If it's hurting whilst I'm walking, it doesn't make sense to go running, does it? No, not really. Anyway, that is the update. Yeah, hopefully it's helped in some way. A lot of people say, well, what is the injury? Well, there's nothing to show. There's no bruising on my calf to say, oh, my calf's hanging off here, a little bit of bruising. Now and again, I've had bruises, and often the bruise is much less than getting sciatica or metatarsal issues, even though you can't actually show anything that's broken or bruised, as they say. So I'm not black and blue. Although internally I probably might be a bit black and blue, but nerves and tendons don't go black and blue, it's the muscles. So yeah, things are good, things are on the up. I'm ready for Christmas. Are you ready for Christmas? And as I said, listen to the very end. I'm going to show you and share with you that one exercise that from the physio recommended me, and it almost gave me immediate relief. This was before New York Marathon, which helped get me to the start. Thank you for watching. Love you all. See you all very soon. Bye 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 bye. Ding dong merrily. Yes, so you've stayed for the addendum. Yeah, that 2-minute exercise that I was doing from a physio. I'll cut straight to the chase. Basically, you just lie on the floor. I put a yoga mat out, lie on the floor on my front, and then I lean up with just my elbows. Yeah, you can see I'm demonstrating. I think I've recorded myself showing it. And I'm just leaning with my arms here, leaning up, 2 minutes. The physio said 2 minutes. So I'll put the stopwatch on and I'll just do 2 minutes. That's it. Yeah, it's not rocket science. It might help, it may not help. For some people it can hurt, so don't go up too high. And there are extensions for that, where if you think, oh, you could do a bit more. There's all sorts of content and information over on social media. I would recommend Yoga with Adrienne. She's brilliant. Lots of yoga stuff, helping with lower back, get it mobile. But again, consult a medical practitioner before you try any of this. Yeah, if anything hurts, don't do it. Yeah, if it hurts in any way, do not do it under any circumstances. So hopefully that's helped. Thank you for staying to the very end. Addendum, let's crack on, because I've got a dilemma right now, and in the next video I'll be showing you my immediate dilemma that's happened literally in the past week. I know, what to do, eh? What to do. See you all soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.